if he's saying, why I want 15-minute break? So because my dog shit at living hall, so I need to do cleaning. Oh, okay. Yeah. So lucky thing today I put 15 minutes. Huh? All right. So welcome back everyone to this lesson again. So we'll resume the class and we have many more to go. Now, we have stopped at this one. Okay. So when we say that if people, what would people usually do if they love how you carry yourself? They will get close to you. They will want to follow you. They want to like you. Also in modern day now, it's like lah, friend lah, follow lah, what else? Okay, so all these things are. So therefore, it is very naturally, it leads us to the next hexagram called following 卦, 泽雷水, hexagram 17. Now, if you look at this gua and the video beside it, you see the similarities. Yeah, you find that below is a 正卦. 正卦 means it's vibration, right? And 泽, it can mean a small volume of water, therefore it is water. Huh? So when the woofer vibrates, when this speaker vibrates, you can see that the water vibrates along with it. This is called following. That means the 正卦 is the driver, the 泽卦 is the one following the rhythm of the vibrations. So it's called singing to the tune. Singing to the tune can also give us a sense of unity. Unity means the leader say what, we follow. The leader say do this, we do this. So it's like what do you call that? What the leader say, the follower will just follow. That's why it's called following gua. Now, there are always some trapdoors to this kind of hexagram. So let's go and find out what are the good and the bad of 水卦. If say nowadays things just unfold like that for me without intention, this is good, master. Somehow I just sing with the situation without knowing. Yes, once you're in tune, you will tend to attract things to show up the way that you wanted. Okay, so enjoy it, enjoy it while it's showing up. So this is called 无为. Without you doing anything deliberately, it shows up to the manner that you want. Okay, so let's do it. Okay, so like for example, the latest craze was this. I don't know how many of you know this guy, Jeff Ng, the Cathay basker, who suddenly become a TikTok phenomenon and then a lot of followers. All right, but because 物大然后可观, later we talk about 观卦, 物大然后可观. But never mind, now we're talking about following. So you see, this is kind of following. Okay, so what do people follow nowadays? People follow trend. Okay, people follow group. Now, if people follow group, then you may want to do some cross-referencing to hexagram 8 Pi Gua. Okay, so people can also follow ideology, and there are many other things. Okay, so for example, K-pop stars, all these latest craze or fashion, all these people can also follow. If say, I also nice, thanks universe, I still feel scared without control. Okay, isn't it a bit funny when you don't get what you want? You're not happy. Now, when you finally get what you want, you feel insecure. Okay, so for example, following grouping. So what is NATO and why Ukraine want to join? Okay, so this is actually we can look at following Gua to understand why Ukraine want to join. I'm just citing this as one example. And now Finland joins, Sweden also want to join. So this is called following Gua. Follow who? Follow a group. And what group is that? NATO, for in this case. Yeah. So Sweden is the latest who say who want to join NATO. And I think they get the in principle approval, right, to join. So let's look at I Ching, what it says about following people, following ideology, following groups, and following trend. 彖卦，随刚来而下柔，动而悦，随大亨，真无咎，而天下随时，随时之意大矣哉。Okay, never mind about Chinese. Basically, loosely translated, because like say, let me do all the heavy lifting, all the Chinese chim one, let me do all the translation and put it into a manner that is easily understandable to all of us. Okay, so what I did here was that, what are the conditions to follow? Okay, so if you really want to follow someone, an ideology, a group, and this, you may want to refer to these slides. Okay, so basically it says here, macro condition, the yuan shall be pure. Okay, you find that 乾卦 is 元亨利贞. Okay, here it has a heng, no yuan, it has a heng, it has a zhen. Okay, so the yuan is missing. The yuan is missing. So therefore, if you want to join this group, you must always question the yuan of this group, or the yuan of this trend, or the yuan of this ideology. Yuan basically meaning intention, or the main purpose, or the main objective. So as long as the intention or the objective is morally okay, then it's fine. But if it's immorally not okay, then you know it's questionable if you decide to join. This is what I Ching is telling us. So it gives us a certain checklist to say, if you want to join, can you check all these items first. Okay, 而天下随时, 而天下随时 means, you know, not everything has a trend, but most of the thing has a trend. And when the trend comes, when time comes for it to be trending, it's very natural for people who want to follow. Okay, so for example, K-pop, BTS lah, EXO lah, and who else? I don't know, NCT or whatever. You know, people want to follow because they are the trending. They are trending. Yeah, so fine, follow them. Fine. Yeah, but why you want to follow them? Okay, if it's not immorally questionable, then it's fine. Okay, so but then once you join, 易经 remind us to say 随时之意大矣哉, meaning you can join, but be ready to adjust and adapt anytime to changes that may come along. So for example, what do I mean by changes? It means if the intention of that organization or the group has swayed or deviated from the original intention, which could be very pure, but now because of they are going for profit, they deviate and they do all the dishonest thing. Once this is so, okay, it is time. 随时之意大矣哉 means it is time for you to think through whether you should do some adjustment, whether you still want to join to become a member or to maintain as a member, or you want to quit. Okay. If it's asking, Master, can we do a prediction on NATO? Good for universe. We are not doing prediction today, leh. Okay, Master, that's now incident of mine, no yuan, but it happened. This is intention from universe. How you think? Yeah, it's reinforcing this part here. So if you have no intention, I mean, don't know why you want to do that, then perhaps maybe don't ask. Okay, so I already give you the checklist based on I Ching. So what it says here is don't blindly follow the masses. Sometimes the M is silent. Remember this. Okay, this is called 泽雷水. So the trapdoor is blind faith. The trapdoor. So not say everybody join, you also must join. That should not be the case. Okay, you join because you know why you want to join. But if you join because everybody else join, then this is not a good reason to join. So for example, following, it could also be example like this. Singaporean 20 detained under ISA for plan to kill 3 Jews. Now they join an ideology. And the ideology, I don't know what's the ideology also, but they join. Okay, so if you go back to the checklist say, is the intention of the ideology morally okay? In this case, it's about killing. So may not be okay. You got my point? So if you're given this chance to join, you go to the checklist and find that, hey, there's one cross out. The intention, the yuan, is not moral enough. So that will give you a very big signal to say, please refrain from joining. Darren say, I'd like to take this opportunity to share my thoughts. Recently have another big wave of trending of suddenly many people teaching Plum Blossom and I Ching. Question, why is their pure intention, or what is their pure intention of teaching? Food for thought. Okay, good question, Darren. Food for thought. So they may be, to share with everybody what they know, what they learn. Okay, could be for a good cause, or it could be for the trending, right? So we don't know, yeah, but only they know. Okay, now the thing about following, so that it become a grouping. So you see, it's again quite relevant to grouping to 天火同人because it's all about big masses Following, when there are a lot of followers, they can become either very united or they can become not united. It can go both way. Okay, it can go both way. So for example, if not united, let me bring back this PH government again. Because they're 同人, their common ground no more there, so their own personal agenda become the highlight for their own. Okay, so therefore there's nothing to hold this coalition together. This PH government collapse. 不团结就是气死人。OK， 不团结气死人啊。Oops。Now， 太团结呢？太团结 can sometimes 害死人。OK， 太团结 can sometimes 害死人啊。Look at, for example, in 2020, Hong Kong there's this protest, and then because of the protester, they are so united, they go around burning MRT, burning all the properties, again 气死人。US same thing, right? So because of this president, protest of the Capitol Hill, again do a lot of damage, right? So 太团结气死人。Now, if asking, so just follow the universe if you don't know the reason why they happen. Okay, of course, if you really want to know, then we can cast a卦to find out. Yeah. Now, 太团结, there is one trapdoor. Okay, there's one trapdoor, and the trapdoor is planting seeds for decadence. Now, what is called decadent in Chinese? Loosely translated, it's called 腐败. 腐败, or another word in English is called inbreeding. Inbreeding, meaning they don't get fresh ideas, they don't get fresh outlooks or get latest updates on what's happening around them. Okay, so they always fall back on proven ways of doing things. I mean, in the past it has worked, so today it should work also, but times have changed. Okay, if Nokia has changed, I'm sure Nokia brand will still be around and be a sizable brand also. But they, somehow they just fall off the grid lah. Huh? Okay, so this is called 水卦. Now, if it has evolved, the 水卦, the following has evolved until decadent step in, what would be the next卦? What do you think? Okay, the next卦would be hexagram 18 called 三风谷. Because of inbreeding, it can cause a lot of confusion. And because of inbreeding, all right, it can form a can of worms. Sometimes when you take over, we got a new job, you take over a department or you take over a section, sometimes you can go in with a bit fearful heart. Why? Because you don't know what kind of cans of worms that you're going to open. And then should you clean it up or not? Sometimes you have this kind of dilemma. Should I open the cans of worm and should I clean it up if I open the cans of worm, or should I just leave it there until my sting is over and I still leave it there? Sometimes people have this dilemma. Okay, so Darren said, like this example, 太团结和不团结, looking back at our prediction, is the卦too much of one element or have only element? Is it serving us or not? Very good point, Darren. So this is about prediction. Another point of analysis. Okay, let's move into confusing, 三风谷. And we can say confusing is like a can of worm. Because if you don't know how to deal, it can be very confusing, right? So, like, for example, a can of worm, if you open up, what do? And for example, COVID, back in 2019 December, okay, when China reported to WHO the first case, so-called the first case, reported first case, it is like opening up a can of worm. All right. So actually, the key in 三风谷, if you feel that you are opening a can of worm, refer back to this slide. Yeah, it says early detection, and if you can detect it early, nip it at the bud. So refer to hexagram 2.1 Kun Gua. That means Kun Gua line 1. Can you all recall what is that Gua Ci in Kun Gua line 1? Okay, so this is what it means. So WHO declared coronavirus outbreak of a pandemic. This is what they did. They're trying to nip it at the bud, but I think it was a bit too late because in the earlier stage they were saying it's okay, like monkeypox like that, it's okay, no problem, it's not going to be, just wear your mask, things like that. But later on it become a monster that nobody can control, right? Not even vaccination. If say actually the virus has broke out much early, but China never report. Exactly. So with China, the same thing. Identify early and nip it at the bud. But China perhaps has chosen to put it under wrap. So therefore, it has already grown to a sizable size before. I think they no choice, but they have to report. By the time it's too late. Okay, by the time it's too late, but WHO and the whole world may think that is still okay. Therefore, again, let it breed some more. Also, until a monster we can't control now, lah. Right? So now the latest is monkeypox. Right? If you can see, if you trace back the article in May, there are some outbreaks of cases, very few, far in between, and then in late May, right, more than 200 cases. I mean, it has increased about fivefold within the same month, or increased fivefold. And then WHO, they had a meeting. They say that it's not an emergency yet. Can still wait. Yeah. Okay. So wait until July 1. Monkeypox has tripled in Europe. So wow, it's growing. Okay, it's growing. And then outside of the Europe and US, Singapore first case, and then now I think recently they just reported the fourth case. So South Korea also have, Taiwan also have. This is called cancer worm. Okay. Did I miss out any comments? Let me see. Ryan say whole world also never took it seriously. Yep. Now the thing, how the world works is that, like for example, monkeypox, until it happens seriously in those rich countries, then they will take it seriously. Previously, they will say endemic, okay, because it happened in the poorer countries. Okay, Helen said, don't understand, no physical contact, how can it be transmitted? There should be physical contacts lah. Okay, Darren say we all tend to say China, but thinking back about ourselves as Asian, most of us, we need to have this type of pattern when we face in life. That's right. Now, monkeypox, if you look at this chart here, I brought in the chart. This is taken from the Lancet.com. You can see it's growing. Okay, it's growing. So I'm not sure what WHO is doing, but I hope they know what they are doing lah. Okay, if say master, if I ask, if we get confusing qua, how to avoid and how to deal with, we'll talk about that. Okay, we'll talk about that. Good question. Yeah. So, what kind of things can be considered a confusing situation? Right? That means it's a 古卦 situation. It could be like corruption. It could be like fake news. It could be like pandemic, right? The one we're having right now, terrorism, destructive trend. It is a can of worm. You open it, and if you don't nip it at the bud, it will become a monster that we can't control. All right. So therefore, like terrorism, we already know the impact if you don't control it. That's why now airlines, airport, they are so strict about what we carry on in the cabin. Same thing with fake news. So if it's asking if we get confusing how to avoid and how to deal with, refer to this 卦词. It says 元亨利色大川先甲散热后甲散热. Again, 元亨. Okay, why 元亨? Confusing. Why is it 元亨? A bit funny, right? And it's called 利色大川, means no problem. Go ahead, do the things. Okay, why is it so? It just means that you still got to carry on your normal life. No worry, COVID, go ahead. Okay, but you must do this first. 先甲散热后甲散热. Now, what is 先甲散热后甲散热 means? For example, COVID, it break out, okay, and then during this period, this is called COVID period. 先甲 means pre-COVID, 后甲 means post-COVID. Okay, so same thing with terrorism, same thing with fake news, same thing with any other thing. We call that as event, pre-event, post-event. It's called 先甲散热后甲散热. Don't care about the 散热. The 散热 doesn't mean 3 days. In I Ching, when you see the word 散, it means many, many, many days. So many days pre-COVID time, you must do something. Post-COVID time, you must do something. Then you are in safe hand, even though COVID may come again. This is what I Ching is trying to tell us. Now, what is it that we must do pre and what we must do post? Darren, pre-holiday, post-holiday. Okay, good. What is it that we must do pre and post? Look at this hexagram. It says here, Geng Gua is like a mountain. Okay, like a mountain. Geng Gua is like a mountain. Xun Gua is like wind. And Xun Gua is below. So it's like, midway along this mountain, there is a lot of wind blowing. Okay, and when wind blow, the trees tend to drop the leaves. So imagine you have a yard, a garden, and you have trees there, and every day you have fallen leaves. Now, what do you do with the leaves? Do you clean it up, sweep it up, or do you leave it there? Because you sweep already, next day is again full of fallen leaf. If that is the thinking, then you are wrong. Then you are not 先脚散热后脚散热. But if you keep sweeping every day, yet knowing that next day it will still have fallen leaf, then you are 先甲散热. That means when it happen, I sweep. When it happen, I sweep. You get my point? This is called 先甲散热 means preparation or nipping at the butt. Okay, so you must have the broom prepare first. That is called prevention and preparation. 先甲散热. And when it happen, you must be like the fallen leaf like that. Every day sweep, every day sweep, every day sweep. Cannot say that tomorrow going to happen again, so today I don't sweep. All right. Post COVID means when everything is okay already, no more COVID. What we do, we have to do post-mortem. And then we have to come out with a contingency plan. What if next time it happens again? What do we do? So luckily for us, Singapore, we have the experience of SARS. That's why, when COVID comes along, at least we have something prepared. We have stockpile of masks, we have stockpile of this, stockpile of that. So we can quickly utilize them at very short notice. You get my point? So for some countries, when they don't have any preparation, they don't have any prevention, when it happened, they were at a loss. They will look at WHO or their neighboring country, what they do, they just follow. But if they don't have the resources, they don't have the stockpile, they will be the one suffering. So this is called pre and post. 先甲散热后甲散热. So back to if question is, if you got confusing gua, how to avoid, how to deal, you have to ask yourself, that issue that you're looking at, why you got confusing gua, have you done enough preparation? Do you have contingency plan? You get my point? And when it happened, are you willing to go and sweep it every day? Okay. You say for business, profit in, start and gradually turn back, get confusing gua, continue or let go. So you see, business. What is the business? What is the pre-business preparation and prevention? Do you have enough reserve? Do you have contingency plan if let's say business start to get or sales is not coming in? What are the thing? What is the thing that you need to be triggered? Okay, what's the plan? So do you have that in place? Okay, so whether to continue or not, that depends. If you don't have contingency reserve, you don't have a plan what to do with it, then of course your next question is to ask, should I continue? That's like Pokim DVD, right? They decide to continue. I'm sure they have deep pockets. Okay, so this is what we shouldn't be doing. This is what I Ching is trying to tell us. One day, you will trip over the hip if you keep sweeping everything under the rug. Fix the issue when it's still a dirt. This is called 三风谷. When it's fallen leaf, sweep. Fallen leaf, sweep. So look at Singapore, how Singapore deal with the COVID-19. When the fire comes out from the dome, they go in to sweep the dome. Okay, so this is what they do. Going very fast. So if they already done, what should be done? Still the same. What to do if get confusing gua? Then you can go to pi gua. If business is not doing well, you go and examine pi gua. Is there any methods from pi gua that you can do to come back to tai gua? And if you did, and you manage to come back to tai gua, then do the post business, the 后甲散热 process. You get my point? So basically, 先假散热后假散热 means preparedness, and then followed by resiliency. Okay. So therefore, why 元亨? Again, if you can do this, if you have 先假散热后假散热, and then in between you keep sweeping, even though it comes out every day, you still sweep like what Singapore government did, it's still 元亨. That means life can still somehow go on pretty decently, like what we have gone through for the past 2 years. And we can harbor new hope at the end of the tunnel. This is what this is the message that I think the government is trying to sell us lah. Press on, pull through together, there'll be new hope at the end of the tunnel. So remember, these cans of worm, the energy of this 古卦, it all started out with the first wave of the wind, the trend, or with the first worm. In the case of COVID, it is patient zero. In the case of fake news, it is again the source of the fake news, or the post that is being posted into Instagram, Facebook, or wherever, right? So to err is human, no point regretting, take ownership with a growth mindset. So problem is it's like that. 无事我不惹事，有事我不怕事。That means if COVID never come, then don't find COVID lah. Of course lah, logical lah. But when COVID comes, I'm not afraid because I'm prepared. You get my point? Now, how to take ownership? When there's COVID, we take ownership. The government take ownership of the problem, and not like some countries say that COVID is nothing, so no need to do anything. That is not taking ownership lah. All right. So how to take ownership? Then if say Master I Ching always very positive, but reality is always opposite, very hard from toppling to great possession. Fuji did it. Fuji's problem is bigger or your problem is bigger. I'm not, it may not be a good comparison, but you think about it. If they can do it at that scale, I'm sure we can also do something at our level. You get my point? Singapore 皮卦. Singapore problem bigger or our personal problem bigger? If Singapore can do it, we can also do it. Right? So yes, I Ching is a very good motivational tools. It can give you a lot of lousy hexagram, but inside that lousy hexagram, it gives you hope. For example, 皮卦, there's a 成语 called 否极泰来. But we know 泰 is in front of 否, yet the 成语 say 否极泰来. Why? It's giving us hope. Say that now you're at 否, don't worry, tai will come. Okay, but first you must go and 己 ji first. That means let the 己 play, let the 否 play full out all the way to the end. Tai will come. You get my point? If okay, how to take ownership of problem is to go on to hexagram 19 called approaching. 地则灵. Okay, 地则灵 Now, when you are at that management level, you have news from your staff on the ground to say that this problem comes out, that problem comes out, whatever. So they give you a lot of problem. Okay, but some leaders are very, very, very good, very sharp. They will say, you come with the problem, please come with a solution as well. So they also go for yin yang, some leaders. Okay, so basically problems is what you see plus the meaning you give it is what you get. Okay, this one I covered in depth in the first year to fifth program also. So let me repeat. What you see plus the meaning you give it is what you get. So remember this, when people tell you the problem, they are telling you the situation from their perspective. Because they saw the situation, they assign some negative meaning to the situation, and they tell you in that package. And in the package is called problem, or their problem. Okay, so when they tell you the problem, it may not be a problem, may not lah, or may not lah. Okay, so what we need to do is you may want to go down on the ground to have a look. This is what I usually do last time. When ground people there's problem. Okay, can. Tomorrow I'll go down take a walk. So that is called walk the ground. Also called walk the ground. Okay, so like for example, in US, 2020, the then president say not to worry, COVID will go away like a miracle. But 2 years later, 2 years on, we still have COVID. Huh? Unlike our PM Lee, he said that COVID will remain a problem for a long time yet. Exactly 2 years already, still a problem. But we have to adjust the way. Huh? Okay, Philip says Singapore is actually also back to 皮过 now, especially when COVID suddenly hits. But SG leader decisive. Today, 2 years later, we attracted the most FDI. What is FDI? Relative to usual Asia industrial economies, exclude China, first half of 2022. Oh, okay. Yeah, in a way, we are. All right, FDI means foreign direct investment. Yeah. Okay, so why we are able to attract the most FDI, right, is because of what do you call that? We play to our strength and at the same time capitalize on what our neighboring countries are not doing well. So that's why there is a gap. And because of that gap, we are able to attract the FDI. So this is just my opinion. I may be wrong. Yeah. If say due to our policy and a safe place to do business. So when people comes to you with a problem, the first thing to do is don't believe a thing they say. This is what I tell you the very start of the lesson. Don't believe a thing I say. So do the same thing. Don't believe a thing they say. So what you need to do, walk the ground if you need to, okay, or get more information to validate or to verify. So the best way is you go and walk the ground lah, or whatever is the ground problem, you go and walk the ground. You let the ground people tell you what to do lah. What's the problem? Sorry. So but then when you walk the ground, there are also some checklists you need to take note of, and Yi is going to tell you what is the checklist. So like for example, in 2020, when the dome fire get ignited, COVID fire, okay, so minister went down, walked the ground, and said, okay, I will change this, I will improve this, I will improve that, things like that, and they did it. Okay, now 5 things you ought to know before you decide to walk the ground. So if you decide to walk the ground, please pull out these slides and use this as a checklist. So what's a checklist? Number one, approach the situation with a growth mindset. Now, if you go in with a closed mindset to say that it's a problem, it's a problem, it's a problem, you will only see problem when you walk the ground. Now, if you go in with an open mindset, with a growth mindset, you probably will see opportunities. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, once you've decided, and once you've started the walk the ground, you can only move forward. There's no backing out. Okay, there's no backing out. You can only move forward. Next, number three, while you are walking, remember this: people are watching. As you walk the ground, I know you are, a CEO or head of department or VP, SVP, EVP, whatever. As you walk the ground, when you look, smile, shake hand here, shake hand there, people are watching. Okay, and what are they watching? They are watching a lot of things about you. So all you need to do is execute your humility, be authentic, all the things that we have learned before. Okay, and then make an effort to show perceived values or benefits in 8 months' time. Now, why I say 8 months' time? 8 months' time is just a figurative number. I will explain that because 八月有凶. Okay, I will explain that. Philip say we don't fight China or Korea, we coexist. Today, lots of manufacturing plant being built to supply raw material or components or consumables to those mega Korean and China manufacturers. Okay. Example, biologic, semicon, batteries, etc. Oh, okay. Thanks, Philip, for sharing this information. Okay, so I give you an example of walking the ground, 地则灵, and a 地则灵 gone wrong. Okay, a 地则灵 gone wrong. I'm not sure how many of you can still recall this. It was in 1990, wrong, 1988, wrong, 1991, sorry, 1991. This MP or cabinet minister decided to walk the ground, walk the market, okay, the wet market, and then shake hand with one of the fish seller. After after shaking hand, he quickly go and wash the hand. So it was quite an insult to the locals there, so-called heartlanders there. And Like I said already, as you walk the ground, whatever you do, every micro movement, you are under watch. People are watching you, especially your enemy. Okay, so the opposition, according to the article, the opposition saw that and make a big hoo-ha about the washing hand. Okay, so that become what do you call that? The thing that pull her down. Okay, pull her off the cabinet and lose the seat. Right? So be careful of walking the ground. And if you do have to walk the ground, refer back to the checklist. Now we talk about the 8 months must show perceived value is why you walk the ground, and as you walk the ground, what are the ground people expecting of you? Since you are going to walk the ground, I'm sure you want to improve the condition or the situation that we are currently in. If you walk and things still the same, then why are you walking? So as the MP, if you walk the ground and there's no improvement after giving feedback from the ground, then you can be sure that you're losing votes already. All right. So 挂词 here it says 元亨利贞. Go ahead, you want to walk the ground, go. It's 元亨利贞. Very rare you can see a 挂 with 元亨利贞. But 至于八月有凶. So that means at the back of your mind, remember, after listening all the feedback, if you don't act on it, you must be seen acting on it lah. Okay. After a while, people expecting results or benefits or changes, and if they see nothing, they're going to lose respect for you. This is what it means by 八月有凶. So it doesn't really mean 8 months. It just means a certain reasonable amount of time lah. You get my point? So why is it called 八月有凶? Actually, it comes from this chart here. This is just a cycle of 消息卦. 消息卦 means the 12 yin and yang 卦啦. And you find that the 地泽临 is here. Okay, 地泽临 is here. And so if the time pass, when the time pass, come 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, so-called 8 8月 8 you find that the 地泽临, when you turn it upside down, it became the 封地官. And the 封地官 means observation. Observation to this walking the ground, it means a judgment day. Judgment day means after this reasonable period of time, we have already walked the ground already. You have promised us to do this, to do that. We are giving you the feedback, but nothing changed. Then you minus point. Basically, this is what it means. If say, Master, after confusing, next will be approaching. Yeah, yes, approaching is to take control of the situation. Okay, if no result is approaching, should be carried out. So therefore, if you decided to take this approach of walking the ground, make sure you're committed to act on the feedback, right? Not every feedback can be acted upon, but you have to be seen as acting upon it. You get my point? All right? Or just say, put if not confident to do so. Now, it's really, if you want to do, you must be committed to doing so, and be seen that you're acting on those. It could be still work in progress. Yeah. So when you decide to walk the ground, be prepared to be assessed. Same with MP. So every GE, every rally, they are actually going through this 地泽临, all the MPs, they're going through all this 地泽临. So in your approach to resolve issues, especially to the ground, don't make promises that you cannot keep. I think this is one of the essence of 地泽临. Is that okay? So like for example, Biden, right? Biden, during his rally, he said, I'll make Singapore this, I'll make America this, I'll make America that. So what happened to US? Biden's approval rating sinks to new low. Okay. Philip said, very good advice for corporate warriors. Work smart, not work hard. Need to be seen that do work, effective or not, secondary. Yeah. So yes, exactly. Of course, if you can be authentic, it'll be even better lah. But at least you must be seen to be doing things lah. Okay, now another 地泽临, all the what do you call that? Europe heads of state all visited Ukraine, right? And then promise say support the idea of granting immediate EU candidate status to Ukraine, blah 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 blah. They went there, they walked the ground, and they made this kind of statement. Whoa, whoa, I'll be monitoring this piece of news. Okay, so should you, right? Okay, so remember this. Let's watch this. Now, once you promise certain things, people are watching and waiting. That's why hexagram 20, the next one, 封地观 viewing. Now, the we already know in AOM1 about one of the universal principles. There are plenty, but one of it is called observable versus unobservable universe. 一虚一实，一切都有两面. That means everything there will be yin and yang. You say, but master, if I'm not confident yet, I get approaching Gua, so how? Remember, I say if you're committed to do it, then you do. If you think you're not ready, then don't do. Okay, then don't do. Because when you do already, the checklist must come in already. You get that? If so the choice is all in your hand. Okay, so observable versus unobservable, meaning whatever we see may not be the absolute truth, because there are certain unobservable portion that is not exposed to us. Okay, and we cannot take it that it's not there, right? So if you look at this, when there's someone who says it's good, there will be another group of people who says it's no good. Okay, so this one classic examples. So two sides of the same coin. So when you have someone disagreeing with you, just know that there will be some others who would agree with you. Now you look at this Feng Ti Guan. Look at how it's been drawn, this symbol. Does it look like this dormant gate? Okay, like these two young lines on top. Okay, so the rest are all sheet, empty, so that people can cross in. Now, this gate is so huge. Okay, it's so huge until it is so prominent. So, guan meaning you blow things up until so big, it becomes so prominent that people cannot ignore. This is called guan. Okay, so the two top line has to be viewed. The rest below are all kun gua, are called observer. Okay, observer. 虚高传物大然后可观 meaning things blow out until a size so sizable that it become a blockbuster movie. So 故受之以观. Look at this example. Okay, our first family. They have their internal family dispute and they choose to blow it up out of proportion. The whole world knows about it. Not only the Singaporean knows about it, the whole world knows about it. Yeah, so it's like that. That's why I Ching always advise us 大事化小，小事化无 using the yin approach. 大事化小，小事化无 contraction approach. But if you choose to go the expansion approach, 小事化有到大then 就物大然后可观，so it become a blockbuster movie. Everybody is so interested to know more. Now, for observer, in modern days nowadays, because of the social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, a lot of things can be blown out of proportion whether you like it or not. Okay, so the best is 大事化小，小事化无. Right? So what is the 4 guiding principles for observer? So if you're observer and we are watching a blockbuster movie like the First Family issues, just look at these reminders. These reminders, 4 guidelines. Number 1, as you stay on the sideline and you're watching this movie, you watch it like a child. Okay, it's okay to be ignorant at this stage. That means when you see somebody fighting on the street, you can be kepo, but you watch it from far and watch it like a child. That means you're so ignorant. What happened is fine. Okay, at this stage, it's like an innocent child. You don't know what's happening. Fine. Okay, so but when you are ignorant, you should seek to clarify. Don't jump to conclusion. The trapdoor is you don't know what's happening. You want to be kepo, but you jump to conclusion. This is a trapdoor. Jumping to conclusion is a trapdoor. So you shouldn't be doing that. Yi Jing says if you don't know enough, don't comment. you go and clarify. So you can ask people, beside you, say, hey, what happened? Do you know what happened? Something like that. Seek to clarify. So remember, never jump to conclusion. You may create a problem that wasn't there in the first place because of the conclusion, because you assign a certain meaning to the situation. And together with that meaning, it can become a problem that wasn't a problem in the first place. So remember this. So when you are seeking to clarify, go back to Mengguan. Okay, go back to Mengguan. Mengguan is saying the yuan is missing. The yuan is behind the mountain. It's just like you're watching this movie, watching somebody fight in the street. You don't know who is right, who is wrong. Both could be right, both could be wrong. Okay, so the actual intention or the actual reason why they fight, the cause, is behind the mountain. So it's for us to go and clarify, to seek out the yuan before you decide what is your next best step. Should you leave this place or should you continue watching? It's up to you. Or should you want to comment? Or should you want to step in to intervene? Refer back to Menggua. Number 2, guideline number 2. Okay. Knowing that you are observing or you're watching the movie through a narrow gap, like a peephole on your door. When people knock on your door, you go and look at through the peephole, you can only see that much. Like what in the slide that you can only see the much. There are so much more things on the fringe that is not observable to you, but is there, but it's not observable to you. So this is what we mean by observable versus unobservable. And we don't comment based on what we see. Okay, we don't comment based on what we see. We must seek to clarify, to find out what are those unobservable. Make a wholesome comment. This is what it means. Look out for the unobservable. Did I miss out any comment? If say, oh no, wait. Master, viewing is not to jump to conclusion. Viewing is telling us not to jump to conclusion, correct? And also telling us that whatever we are seeing, we are actually seeing through a door peephole. There's only so much you can see, but it is up to us to go and seek out those unobservable. So once you have seek out enough, okay, then you ask yourself, you have watched enough, should you continue? Means 关我身进退. 进退 means should you move in further, to intervene, to step in, to join in, or you should just walk away. Okay, why? It's like, I show you this snippet, video snippet. People on top there, next level on top there, they are watching, they are doing this 关挂 on this fight, and they were all leaning forward onto that barrier. Okay, so imagine the crowd there. You are one of them, and you watch until so engrossed. You are being complacent. Your alert is totally down because you're fully immersed in that movie. Now, when people are pushing from behind with that kind of force, what if the barrier give way? Then you're putting yourself in great danger. So I'm using this example, a very lame example, but I think it's useful enough to explain, is that as you watch, don't let your guard down. You could be putting yourself into unnecessary danger. Okay, so therefore, you watch like a innocent child. You go and seek to clarify. You don't jump to conclusion. And then once you have enough information, you decide what's your next best move. But at the same time, don't let your guard down. You could be in what do you call that? Putting yourself in unforeseen danger. Okay. So, for example, the Abi assassination. If they say there are a lot of observer, I'm sure there's a lot of observer. What if there's another gunman nearby? What if there's another gunman nearby standbying to say that if Abe is not taken down, they will fire the shot? So if you're engrossed in that movie and that there's a crossfire or misfire, you may be putting yourself in danger. So this is what you mean by observation, observing. So same goes for fake news. Anything that can cause a confusing always remember back about 关卦. So fake news, you watch it already, you don't believe a thing they say. You go and verify because you're peeping through their lens. They are putting up a narrative and telling you what they want you to know. Okay? It may not be the whole truth. So same thing with the fake news. Then again, people out there, they like to comment. They like to put in their 2 cent worth, especially in social media. So when they see a piece of news, they put in their comment, they put in their whatever, their opinion and things like that. So another trapdoor here about 关卦 is the mouth is the gate of misfortune. 祸从口出. Once you have observed enough, you think you have observed enough, you want to put in your comment, you go and put in your comment. But is it enough or not? We don't know. Okay, like for example, Jack Ma, I think he thought he have reached the 大有卦, somewhere up there already. So 口无遮拦, right? 口无遮拦 means anyhow say things bluntly lah. So he said something that provoked the government, or the China government, and I think it was serious enough for the government to step in. Okay, and basically what he said give what do you call that? Give the reason, the excuse for the government to step in. This is what I believe. Now, when you get stuck, when you say something and you get caught with it, what do you think? How do you think you will feel? Or when you overpromise and then you can't deliver, you get stuck. What do you think will be the next hexagram that you will experience from here? It would be the next hexagram called hexagram 21. So you find that the way these hexagram have all been arranged is very progressive. Okay, it's very progressive and it reflects the natural tendency of behavior, human behavior. It's called biting through. When you say something and you get stuck, it's not the truth, but you said it already, 你收不回, you get stuck. Okay, or you overpromise and you can't deliver, you get stuck. Right? So this is called hexagram 21, 火雷四克. 四克 means biting through. So once Jack Ma said something, China government came in strongly to hold them, by the neck. Ant group naturally go into the 四克卦 situation, meaning biting through. Up to today, Ant group, were they very loud like last time? Not very loud. They were somehow was like mellow down. Okay, a lot. So they were actually going through. They are now going through this biting through stage. So sometimes those who speak the loudest often has nothing to say lah. Okay, let's move into 四克. Now, if say master, why not confining? Before confining, you will go through this stage first. All right, you go through this stage called the 四克 because you get stuck already at that moment. So I'm sure, have any one of you experienced being put in this situation of 四克? Have you experienced before? Type a yes in the chat box. You have been put in the situation of biting through 四克. What it mean? Philip, yes. Okay, thank you. No matter how good you do, there will always be blockers trying to throw spanas at you. I give you an example. So maybe let me see. Relate to what I do. I teach. I teach. So like for example, I'm teaching, let's say in a classroom style, I'm teaching, I'm delivering my content. And then perhaps one of the student, very enthusiastic student, raised a hand, asked question. And then I answered. And then he tried to challenge my answer, raise another question. Then I answer. And then he tried to challenge my answer. So it's like whatever I answer is always not satisfying for him or her. And he keep challenging the answer. In that kind of situation, I am being put into a 四克 situation. Biting through. I have to bite through that situation. Okay, so this is called biting through. So that student could be throwing spana at me, challenging whatever I'm saying. Okay, so if I'm in that situation or you are in that situation, what should you do? Refer back to this hexagram. If say, will you feel upset? No, why should I feel upset? I won't feel upset lah. Okay, so it's like I have to account for the rest of the students, so I have to deal with the situation quickly, right? But let me tell you how I will do it. Okay, with this hexagram. Huh? Okay, so look at this 火雷四克. Now, does this look like, for example, the yang line on top look like the upper lip? The upper lip here. The bottom yang line look like the bottom lip here. And in between is a lot of spaces, which is the mouth. Which is the mouth. This one actually comes from 易卦, meaning the 易卦. Okay. And then suddenly in between the foot, there is one fish bone stuck somewhere there. Okay, so that yang line here in between is called the fish bone. Among all the meat, all the food that you are trying to chew. Okay, or if you take it like say the abalone story, for example, you're eating abalone, you know, you have been longing for this abalone, very expensive abalone, and you bite, and then somehow you find that, how come there's one fish bone somewhere in between? What do you do? So that is the kind of feeling of 四克. You know, it's like quickly in your mind, you run through 3 type of scenario or 3 type of possible solution. 1, throw out everything all together, including the abalone. Wasteful. I've been waiting for this time to eat the abalone, and now because of that bone, I have to throw out. So it's like, for example, the student, I may have to go and stop the whole class, which I don't think I want to do that lah. Okay. Or number 2, bite your way through. I mean, bite your way through means you just chew everything, you know, and then swallow the abalone together with the fish bone. That is one way also. Okay. Or you may want to rehabilitate the spina thrower. I mean, that means while preserving the abalone, you go and search for the bone carefully. Okay. So it's like, you know, so either of these 3 choices may not be the best choice. So same with the classroom example. Throw him out also no good. Keep answering his question also no good. You know, or scold him, you know, back through the way, scold him, you know, also no good. You know, so this is called 四克, biting through. What to do? What's the best way out of this situation? This is the easing way of getting yourself out of this situation. So advice from hexagram 21. 卦辞 called 亨, biting through still call me 亨. Doesn't make sense, right? But no, he says that 亨 only if you have this condition. And what's the condition? 利勇狱. 狱 means the 监狱的狱, means prison. Okay, so 亨 only if you have that prison system in place. Funny. That means going to become regimental, is it? Now, hear me out. It means there must be some enforcement system put in place first. Then, if you need be, use, leverage on that enforcement system. Then it's called heng. Okay, but there is a way that you need to implement this enforcement system. All right, so it applies for me, applies for the classroom style, apply for this online teaching as well, and applies on many other situations. So you go and figure it out yourself based on your situation. Yeah. Basically, it means like that. Set, enforce, flip. Okay, set, enforce, flip. First of all, set ground rules first. What did I do before I start this class? I set my house rules. I set my ground rules. How many rules are there? 2 rules. What's the first rule? Don't believe a thing I say. So therefore, if you want to challenge me, I will bring up these house rules. Remember these house rules? I say, don't believe a thing I say. So you don't have to waste your time challenge me. Okay, you don't have to believe, but you can choose to believe, right? So therefore, with that rule, I'm able to, you know, push aside for a while. But of course, I still have to deal afterward with that student. Okay, push aside, at least I can, you know, maintain order again in the classroom. So set the rules and then enforce if need be. Of course, the last thing to enforce will be those rules. Okay, so if let's say I'm able to answer him adequately and he stops there, fine. I don't have to invoke these rules. Okay. So, but then along the way, I must always maintain an open mindset, a growth mindset. You know, perhaps for all you know, those questions that the student raise or the student challenge may carry valid points that I can use in my next lessons. You know, so I always must maintain with a growth mindset. So this is what I Ching says about 火雷时刻. I mean, when you're in that biting through situation, 亨利永裕. Okay. So therefore, in short, you don't throw out the bone immediately. I mean, don't throw out everything immediately. So that means I don't have to throw the student out or enforce the rule. People will know who is right, who's wrong. That means if if they say there's a student who keep challenging me, I say that you don't have to follow, believe a thing I say, all the other students would understand, right? So then from time to time, I may need to remind you all again on the ground rules, on the house rules. And then if need be, I will enforce. Okay. So if say, perhaps the student just raise question without harm, he just want to understand fully. That's right. That's right. That's why this is where the growth mindset comes in, the open mindset comes in. He could be raising a very valid question. Now, if I take it that he's challenging my authority or how much I know, and I take it personally, then things may go very ugly. Okay, so therefore, back to these three boxes here, three reminders here. Is that okay, everyone? Right. Then again, be thankful for the difficult people in your life, as they are a great reminder of who you do not want to be. So this, I think, is a good reminder. Now, let's flip the table over. Flip the table over, because just now I've been talking about what if I'm in the situation of biting through. Now let us flip over to say, what if you are the one throwing the spanner? Okay, what if you are the one throwing the spanner and unknowingly you are throwing the spanner and you're causing a 四颗 situation to the other party? How do you know when to stop? Okay, of course, if you knowingly do that, then it's really a choice lah. But if you unknowingly do it, look out for signs to tell you you have overdo it. Okay, so I call it a note for the spanner thrower lah. So watch out for 雷电和而章. This is what it says in I Ching. I Ching says this for the spanner thrower. Watch out for 雷电和而章. What it means is that when suddenly there's thunder and lightning strike, it is a very clear signal, very loud and clear signal, say stop what you are doing. Okay, so for example, if I'm a spanner thrower, I keep challenging the teacher's question or the answers, and then keep challenging until a point that the teacher gets so fed up and then bang on the table. That is 雷电和而章, thunder and lightning. So that will be a clear sign for me, if I've learned I Ching, to say stop what I'm doing. I've gone overboard. Okay, it's time to pull back. You have crossed the line, self-reflect, and try to recover the situation. So perhaps say, sorry. Let's maybe you can take this offline. Don't want to disturb the class. So self-reflect, recover from the situation. Is that okay? So if say damage repair, yeah, master. Yes, that's right. So once you recognize that 雷电和而章, pull back, then try to recover. Is that okay? Is it too much for you? Can you still follow me? Type okay in the chat box if you are still with me. Alan say okay, thank you. Paul say okay, thank you. Fiona say okay, thank you. Good. Philip say okay, thank you. Okay, good. Let's carry on. Now, just now we talk about Jack Ma, right? Jack Ma made some blunder, right, by saying certain things I shouldn't say. Okay, but that could be just a pretext for government to step in. But anyway, he did that already. Okay, and then because of that, the N group has to go through that biting through phase up up to now still going through because I don't see much things from them in the news recently. So I guess they're still licking the wound. Now, what about Jack Ma? Okay, what about Jack Ma? Anybody heard from Jack Ma already? Do you see him coming out often enough? I think totally silent, radio silent. All right. So this is what happened. When you when you go through that earlier on, that kind of situation, if it's asking master viewing next is adorning, not adorning. After 火雷四刻 biting through, then it's adorning. Okay, after 火雷四刻 then it's adorning. So now we are at adorning. Okay, right, good. So let's say you realize you have done something wrong already, like Jack Ma like that. Maybe he has realized that he has done something wrong, okay, and he has to get out of N group. Next thing he should logically do or sensibly do is to follow what Yi Jing is advising. Go into adorning mode. 三火比. Okay, go into adorning mode. What is adorning? Basically, it's telling us how to bounce back and restore your lost esteem. For example, if let's say I challenge the teacher, right? And then I got this 雷电和二张, right? This bang on the table, and I know it's a very loud and clear signal. I should pull back. Okay, and when I pull back, next thing I should go into is adorning hexagram. Okay, so basically it's how to bounce back. How to bounce back. Okay, what it says here, 初九 is self-restraint, back to basic, and then refer back to hexagram 1.1. 1.1 is 乾卦. Anybody can recall 1.1 is talking about what? 乾卦 line 1 is talking about what? Self-restraint, you know. That means you should not be coming out too often. You shouldn't be asking unnecessary question, right? Back to basic, mean go back to where you're supposed to be as a student, 乖乖听话, right? And then hexagram 1.1 means 潜龙勿用. Hexagram line 1 is 潜龙勿用. What is 潜龙勿用 means even though you know a lot of things, you don't show. Okay, you don't show. You 乖乖 sit there, you listen. This is called adorning. Isn't this? Yes, thank you, Philip. Stay under radar. That's right. Isn't this what Jack Ma is trying to do now? Get off the radar. Lie low. Okay, like totally radio silent. This is what he's doing. I think he has learned Yi Jing. Or maybe someone, his advisor has advised him, do this. Okay, so yeah, so you know lah. Okay, so that once you are able to lie low enough, and you think is enough, then you have to make small progress each time. Don't go for a big bang. So I'm sure Jack Ma will slowly come back up again once he's ready, but in small ways. He won't be coming out in big bang. I don't think so. The thing is like that. If you want to be able to come out again, before that, Yi Jing is saying that do not try to over package yourself. That means over package means don't have any luggage that you cannot remove one. Okay, you don't have any luggage that you cannot remove one. So for example, like house like that, you can have a lot of fixtures, built-in fixtures, and then when you shift house, you cannot shift those built-in features, right? But those you buy off the shelf, you still can carry along to the next house, right? So Yi Jing say here, you don't go for a lot of those built-in features that you later on you cannot remove one. Okay, so that when you need to go undercover, not undercover, you go under the radar and you need to come back up again, you are as light as possible. You don't have luggage to pull you along that you need to pull along. Okay, so this is what it means. Philip said, even people shine light on you, run to the line 5, let light shine on both. Otherwise, line 5 will 干掉你. That's right. That's right. Or give the light more to the line 5. Okay, say this is my boss. Okay, yeah. Don't claim the credit. Yeah, because 潜龙勿用. Okay, So therefore, maintain the moderated packaging. Packaging is 包装 lah. In Chinese called 包装 lah. So whatever you want to do, don't be so showy, small step each time, and make sure that this 包装 can anytime let go. If thing goes wrong, let go, run. Okay, best not to use permanent packaging. 包装 packaging means 包装 Don't over package more than your superior. Just now we talk about car, right? Then somebody say Volvo, somebody say Mercedes, somebody say Jaguar, things like that. Just don't over package more than your superior lah. Okay. Now, in life, I think we all go through this stage, especially when you approach 40, 50, or maybe even more. You start to feel that packaging actually is not necessary. The 包装 is not necessary. A car, not a necessity. Branding is not a necessity. I mean, the brand of the car is not a necessity, things like that. So going back to plain vanilla is still the best. That's why I give up car driving a long time. I still take Mercedes like Darren. Okay, and then sometime Volvo, and then sometime Mans. All chauffeured lah. Okay, so you find that a lot of successful people will eventually prepare for their retirement, like LKY. It's a very classic showing of this 比卦. Know when to retire. Okay, right? So the higher you are, the more basic the reward there. So same thing. So that's why PM Lee is doing the same thing like his father, preparing to transit or hand over the baton. And look at LKY and his wife. They were still, when he was still alive, both were alive, they were still staying in their Oxley house. Okay, they don't expand their property, into very what do you call that, showy kind of property. So they did go back to basic, right? 白皮无咎. Or even up to today, people will sing praises of this couple. So in short, when you are in the 比卦, when you start to lie low, when you need to lie low, don't over package. Okay, avoid permanent packaging. When you say over package, means you don't outshine your above. All right, and avoid permanent packaging means don't have built-in furniture, basically, because you cannot carry. And worse still is if you need to carry and they are built-in, jialat. I show you one example, live example. Now this KL minister, I think few years back, all right, he has packaged himself in a way permanent packaging, saying that he has this degree, that degree, but later found out that it's a fake degree. So when you declare you have this degree, you're actually putting a built-in package 包装 to yourself. And later on, you cannot unsay to say that, no, I don't have a degree. You cannot unsay anymore because it become a built-in thing. This is what it means by built-in or permanent packaging. So beware of that. Certain thing that is permanent one, if you cannot easily let go one, just be careful that it should be authentic enough. So 比卦, the basic, meaning go back to basic. Don't forget about the basic. So many of us forget about the basic and wonder why the advanced don't work. Yeah. If say Grab is so convenient nowadays, I let go my car recently as well. Try to be as light as possible for myself per se only. Yeah. Ultimately, I think you're right. If ultimately up to a certain point in life, you find that you want to go back to plain vanilla. It's still the best. Yeah. Okay. Now, when do you think Jack Ma will come out? A very funny question to ask, is it? When do you think Jack Ma will finally show up? Well, I can't tell you the time, but I can at least tell you from Yijing perspective, when he reach a certain stage, he will try to come out already. All right. So what is that stage? He is still not there yet. He's still not there yet. He's still going through this 比卦. From my observation, or he's still going through that 比卦. He still has to go through another stage before he can come out. Philip said he might not. Maybe he will groom someone. Perhaps. Okay, perhaps. So he must go through another stage before he can 东山再起 if he wanted to lah. Okay, if he wanted to. Philip said then he become the line 6 like MM Lee. Good idea. Perhaps. Darren said, Master Yo, while you're sharing, it allows me to think about myself. The higher of Chinese metaphysics we go, back to fundamental, basic, the requirement to ourselves is higher. That's right. So remember, in many of the classes, I keep telling you, the yin yang wu xing, we cannot let go. We cannot let go. We cannot say, because it's so simple, you can just brush it aside. Cannot. Yin yang wu xing ba gua. These three. It must be rock solid. Okay, now talk about the another stage that Jack Ma has to go through is the next stage, hexagram 23, peeling, 三地波. Okay, 三地波. Now, 三地波, if you look at the image there, it is like this yang line reaching to the max, to the ceiling, to the max. It's like last bar battery. So Jack Ma has to push through or to pull through this stage here all the way until, last bar. It's called peeling 三地波. Perhaps what he's going through right now, we may not be able to empathize with. I'm not sure, because at the 博卦, this is how you will feel. Okay, if you want to know how you will feel when you're at the 博卦, let me describe it in one liner here. Nothing you do seems to be right. If it's asking, if already low profile, why you still need to peel? Now, he could be going through the low profile by sui, go through motion, right? But it's not enough to go through. So same thing with life, especially the winter of life. You have to go through this 博卦. That means come to a stage, Jack Ma might be feeling that nothing he do seems to be right. 每次碰钉子 turn left cannot, turn right cannot, go straight cannot, U-turn cannot. Everything seems to be against him. Okay, and if you're feeling so in your situation, then you could be in a 博卦. Then maybe it's time to take out this hexagram and read it. Okay, right? So at this stage, supporters can turn blockers. Now your enemies, your friends can easily become your 小人. And if you need money, you're going to approach your friend for money, they will kick you out. 吃闭门羹. So this is the situation. Okay, this is the situation. 小人长也. And a lot of this 小人 is whom you used to know, whom you used to hang out. Okay, so this is at a 博卦 situation. So how you can tell whether you're at a 博卦? Relate to the feeling, or relate to this situation. So therefore, a lot of time we need to be nice to people on our way up, because we might meet them again on our way down. So this is what it means. But 博卦, what should we really do? Okay, 博卦, what should we really do? Listen to 易经 博卦. This has a grammar. It's called 顺而上子观相也. Meaning, don't go head on. Okay, so for example, if the government already stepped in already, don't go and challenge the government. Step one side. Embrace what may come. You want me to go into 比卦, I go into 比卦. You want to go on me to stay silent, radio silent, I go radio silent. But at the same time, don't lose hope. Okay, don't lose hope. Right? Recognize that this is the universal principle at work, because what goes up must come down. Can you see the second wave is coming to an end already? Remember, we start off the lesson today. We start off from recovering from the 皮卦 by using the 同人卦, and then you get the 大有卦, so you go up already. And then you see that the wave is coming down to the lowest point in life, which is the 博卦. Okay, so recognize that this is the universal principle at work. So what you need to do at this stage is even more important, is to walk in the universe footstep. And while you are waiting, okay, you must prepare for rekindling. Okay, prepare for rekindling. Why rekindling? Is because when you turn the 卦 upside down, the 博卦 upside down, it is 地雷复, meaning the spring is going to come. So what you need to do, the last bar battery, you preserve that last bar. It's just like a handphone. If a last bar, you will not go and surf anymore, right? You probably will turn off the Wi-Fi, turn off the data, whatever, or turn off apps that consume a lot of battery, right? All you do is you want to preserve the last young. Same with Jack Ma. Whatever he still has resources, he must preserve. And then think about when the spring comes along, what kind of seed would he want to plant? That means what's next for him. And once he planted the seed, nurture the seed, and then from there be resilient. Okay, so go back to the. Can you recall any hexagram that we learned in AOM1? It's like 虚卦. 虚卦 means 需要等待, and it's about patience. And what is about patience is it's not about waiting, but it's what you do while you wait. Okay, so it is see shadows of AOM1 along the way. Yeah. Okay, so rekindling will never come if you give up halfway, or you give up the last bar. That means no more bar. I think, let me see. Philip say, I think biggest enemy is our own ego and pride. Something we think it is worth more than it really is. That's right. Ego sometimes is the looks expensive lah, but actually it's worthless lah. Oh, thank you for this this sentence, this statement, Philip. If say, but master, if get peeling yet this challenge the integrity, what to do? Don't compromise integrity. Don't compromise integrity. The 牵挂, 君子有忠, remember that? Okay, don't compromise integrity. All right, so examples of last young. Okay, last young. Don't lose faith. If you have faith a certain thing, don't lose faith. All right, don't lose that motivation. I know, it's pretty hard now when you're experiencing the winter of life, how to have motivation. Everything seems to go against you, how to have that motivation. Cling on to it. Cling on to it. Don't give up. Right? And then your intention, don't give up. Your hope, don't give up. Your conscience, don't give up. Integrity, don't give up. Because this is all that's defining you. If you give up all this, you are nothing really. Right? So if you're saying so, even get peeling, still carry on if do with integrity. That's right. Preserve the last young, move on. Life still carries on. And then carry on with the hope. Hope the best will come because winter will not last forever. Remember, 物不可以终彼. Okay, 物不可以终彼. If yes, what to do? Move on. Okay, move on. So when there's young, there's hope. 留得青山在，不怕没柴烧. All right. So if you can recall, PM Lee came out to say there's hidden reservoir. Right. So this is like the last bit of COVID trying to hang on. Okay, so we should be careful also. So PM Lee also use Bo Gua to tell you, we are reaching to the end. But remember, COVID-19, this virus is also got energy one. They are also clinging on to the last bar. They also cling on to the last bar. So we shouldn't be complacent. Okay, so by right, I think I've said that in early 2020 is that, based on I Ching, we should be coexisting with COVID-19. Yeah, we can do a lot of prevention, blah, 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 but we still must acknowledge that COVID-19 will be among us. This is what I said in one of the talk show in early 2020. Yeah. So one quotes from this Bo Gua is, however bad life may seem, if you keep your hope alive, anything is possible. Okay. Darren said, dengue fever always there. Yeah, that's coexist with dengue fever. We just need to do what we need to do. Okay, so why do we need to keep the last young? Because the last young can anytime turn around, become 地雷妇. Okay? So this is called rekindling. That means a reboot button. What Jack Ma is waiting probably is a reboot opportunity. So in short, this 地雷妇 is telling us no winter lasts forever, no spring skips its turns. So if you are worried about this pandemic, not to worry, because Fu says no pandemic lasts forever, no spring skip is turn. 气热来复，气热来复 don't take it literally means 7 days, okay? But it means up to a certain point in time, it will just reboot. Okay, it will just reboot. Just like nature, that spring will just come back again, right? But then we know that it will come back again, but it's not going to wait for you. Okay, when it come back, it's not going to wait for you. So don't miss the window of opportunities. They don't always stay pretty. Okay, so it's called 不远赴. 不远赴 that means when you 赴 you don't wait until too long, you miss the opportunity, then you miss the boat again. Then you're going to wait one big round again. Okay, if say nobody scan now COVID, my colleague positive wanted to come team bonding. Guess what? Nobody reject. Yeah, haha. Yeah, up to a point, we have to make no big deal. I think we had a qua on this, right? We say no big deal, right? Okay, now another definition of 不远赴 is this. Another definition of 不远赴 is no matter how far you have gone on the wrong road, you can still turn around. But of course, the earlier, the better. That's why it's called 不远赴. That means the moment you discover they have gone the wrong way already, quickly make a U-turn. Just like what the Singapore government did. Earlier on, they were saying no need to wear mask, no need to wear mask, no need to wear. But by the time they realize it's wrong, they quickly jam brake, and then U-turn and say, please, everybody wear mask. I think they did the right thing. They came out to say that, so sorry, okay, we make a wrong choice. So today onward, please, everybody wear mask. Compulsory some more. So this is what we need to do. Always remember, in anything that we do, when we see that we are going the wrong path, 不远赴, you turn as early as you can. Now, Putin also said this recently. The further the conflict in Ukraine goes, the harder it would be to reach a peace agreement. This is what he said, which is pretty true. It's 不远赴. The further they go deep into this war, the harder it is for them to U-turn. But it's not impossible to U-turn. It still can, but it's harder. So always when you just, it's the same scenario like hexagram 2.1 means 坤卦 line 1. What is 坤卦 line 1? 离霜坚冰至 means when you see the frost, know that the harsh winter is coming. Okay, and nip it at the bud. So since this is the law of nature, that means whatever goes through the 伯卦, the peeling 卦, what comes next will be the spring, which is the 复卦. So therefore, it has a very good reminder for us, Yijing, saying that the quality of your rekindling depends very much on how you leverage the peeling that comes before it. Okay, so that means if you want to have a very good comeback, a reboot, then you must know how to make use during your winter time. Or when you're going through the winter time, what do you do while you are waiting? Very critical. Okay. Darren say your love half is there 不远赴, but life make us feel they are 远赴. Interesting. Okay, thanks, Darren. So like Kodak and Fuji, I always love to use that example because it shows a very big contrast, the yin-yang contrast. One of them carry on the wrong journey, even though they know it's wrong, they carry on. The other one, halfway, know that they were on the wrong track already, they quickly U-turn. U-turn means do something else, pivot. Okay, 不远赴. And I think you know which one is 不远赴, U-turn quickly, and the other one continue the journey until drop off the cliff. Yeah. Basically, all boils down to one thing. 易经, when we talk about 虚卦传, is telling us only one thing: be resilient. Okay, be resilient. Chinese call 安而不忘为. Okay, 安而不忘为 means when you are in the 太卦, remember you 要持太去否. Is that okay? All right. So you see, this is another wave. or another way from 大有 all the way down to 卜卦, until everything is going against you, and then suddenly there is a sign of hope called the 复卦, the reboot 卦. This is the second wave that we are talking about. Okay, so with this we have covered, including AOM1, we have covered 24 hexagrams already. All right, so tomorrow we're going to cover another portion of it, and then next Saturday the last portion of it. So basically we've come to the end of today's lesson. So if say, Master, is it to be mindful always, no matter what qua we picked up? Yes, no matter what qua you picked up, look for the observer and the unobserver. There's always two sides to the qua. So to sum up, we have learned today, always seek common ground, respect the difference. And then we say that pride and arrogance will come before a fall. And every extreme pleasure has a sting in its tail. 乐极生悲嘛, And then next is a nip the bud before it turns to a monster you can't control. Okay, so what you see plus the meaning you give is what you get. Don't always assume that the problem is a problem, because people could have defined the problem wrongly. Next, the quality of a spring will depend on how you make use of the winter. So how you want your reboot to be, make full use of the peeling. Okay. If say rekindling can say found lost item or situation gradually turn bad or good, yes, you can say that. Suddenly there is a turn of event, a flipping point, right? So that is a semblance of rekindling. You're right, huh? If very good, thank you. So before we end here, can I ask you to type in the chat box just one liner, quick liner? What have you learned today that you can use to advance yourself in this uncertain time? Darren say that's why when we do any Chinese metaphysics, we tend to read pitfall Wei Ji, not because we have negative thought, it is because we want to a不忘wei. That's right. That's right. And at the same time, we also want to see whether there's ways to turn this Wei Ji into 转机 or not. Flipping technique. Okay, just one quick liner will do. What have you learned today that you can use to advance yourself in this uncertain time? Paul say humility always. Yes, 君子有宗. If say I have better insights in Guan now, that's good. That's good. So slowly, no need to rush in your learning because all these things don't come overnight. It's like when you see more daily living experiences, and world events, you get better and better with the Guan. Ryan say always choose respond, not react. Very good. This is very key. Yeah. Thank you, Ryan. Fiona say be humble and always in a learning mood. Yes. Open mindset, growth mindset. Okay. Ken, thank you very much for your inputs. Now, the next lesson will be tomorrow. Same time, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. You expect the same link to come in. Yeah. Okay. So without further ado, then I will see you tomorrow. Have a good rest. Yeah. Thank you. Bye bye.